Is everyone get? Hey guys,
Okay.
how you doing?
That was exciting.
How
Yeah,
you like?
just being weird.
Wait a minute. Did you guys see? Did anyone see the intro?
Yep.
Yeah.
Twice.
Yeah. And it still got
Okay.
me froze for some reason.
Well, Steve's in froze. I can't see the intro. Everybody else can see the intro. Hey, this is Don Welcoming Things. Welcome to the show tonight. This is going to be a cluster.
And we lost the chat.
And we lost the. Oh God, I got to set this up again. Please no.
Haha.
Oh,
I came
Steve.
prepared this time.
Oh, so my plan B, having YouTube set up on a second monitor, is paying off because I can see the chat.
Well, wait a minute.
Wow.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Death Angel Shadow, how you doing? Death Angel said we've seen it twice. So you got double the money. Double the money.
You got double the fun, and you still paid nothing.
See, I can't even say it right. Tonight's going to be a really interesting.
You
video.
bargain it twice the price.
Okay, hold on a minute. I'm trying to get the chat to show up, and it's not showing up. Hold on a minute. We have to fix this like we do every single bloody time.
I'll hide behind it right now, though.
Oh, be quiet. Leave me alone. I'm trying to fix this thing, and it's like not fixing.
This is what happens when you don't have Jennifer Glazer behind this
We need
scene
Jennifer Glazer
with all the
on
little
here.
strings.
Hold on a minute. And on top of that, we got, you know what? ChatGPT. This is even, oh my God, it's going to be one of those nights. It's not ChatGPT.
It's restream.
It
Yeah.
is Restream. There we go. Hold on, guys. We're fixing this. Wampler's like going, what the hell am I getting into, man? This freaking amateur
Oh no,
hour BS.
I'm at peace with the state of the world. We're working on artificial intelligence before we've perfected human intelligence.
All right.
Oh, we're never going to perfect human intelligence.
That's just the way it is.
How's everybody tonight? Jim, thank you for coming on. We have Jim Wampler on the show tonight, folks. We are blessed with royalty, gaming royalty.
Whatever.
Am I kissing your butt enough here? Because I got to ask you to do some work for me.
Aha. The point emerges.
Okay. Death Angel Shadow, how you doing? GM Call Jason, how you doing? Rob, how you doing? Wizard's wife, my wife, she's watching me from her sewing room.
She's watching you.
Mark the Shark, everybody else, how you doing? Fugly. If you guys go to the Vlog of Many Things Facebook, hey, we will try this. Hold on a minute. Where is he at? Tom just tried to join.
Bum, bum, bum?
Tom, where are you at? Literally, it said Tom was trying to join. Tom, exit out and try joining again.
My ear trumpet has, I swear, between my ear trumpet and Agile Monk, we've got the best community. Thank you, my ear trumpet, for gifting a membership.
That's right. I'm sounding like Stevie Nicks tonight. I'm going to sing Gypsy for y'all tonight. How's that?
Oh, please no.
What, you guys want, what, Silver Springs?
Gypsy.
Huh? Fine, be that way. I can floor around in my little floral dress and sing about lace and gypsies. No?
But we don't really want that.
I offered to swing around my kilt, but Jim said no. He threatened to go off the show if I did it. Okay, guys. Jim's like, what the hell am I getting into, man? I got shit I got to do tonight.
Yeah, I didn't
pet my cat.
I didn't volunteer for this crap.
Okay, hold on.
Well, because
Okay,
we're here to honor my best friend on the planet and adopted uncle. So
yes. First of all,
There he is.
There he is.
Where's he at?
I'm right here.
Yeah, down at the bottom.
I don't see him.
I'm on the screen. I see myself on the screen.
I literally
I
don't
see him.
see him.
He's on
before
the
I get
software
bounced out, let me just give you an update. We think
Okay, this is really weird. I don't see him at all.
McAfee actually was blocking me from getting on.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Lame.
Okay, I don't know.
I'm still trying to
I
figure
show
out why
I show
frozen.
5 boxes on my screen on the side,
Yeah, I'm here.
but I don't show anything.
I'm at the bottom.
Tom is.
Yeah.
Tom, I will vouch that Tom is there.
I see Tabletop Tap Room.
He even changed his camera.
Yes.
Well,
I don't hear him. I see Tom from Tabletop Tap Room.
Wait, you don't hear Tom?
I don't hear Tom one bit.
Somebody just asked for a Glenn update,
All right.
good.
which you can do.
Go ahead, Eric. Next
All right.
up.
So, Glenn, the the surgery. It's not even a procedure. It was legitimate surgery. Apparently, it was successful. They removed the tumor.
Yes.
He will be proceeding with chemo to be followed by radiation. He's probably still sleeping off the experience right now.
Yes.
He's been updating us. So, and we will make sure when we get fuller, you can find either on Don's Facebook channel, I'm sure, or on the tavern with my YouTube posts. I'll keep you all updated. So, but it's looking good, but it was cancerous.
Yes,
Glenn's
sadly.
wife is also posting on Glenn's Facebook page,
Yeah.
so
Yes.
everyone can keep up.
Yeah, right. If you have Glenn as a friend on Facebook, she'll be updating.
Boots to you
Yes.
later tonight.
So happily, he made it out of surgery. Okay, that's the big thing, and it was major. It was brain
And
surgery, so it was
painful
major
Yeah.
stuff. So, Tom, I'm sorry I can't hear you. I guess other people can see you. I cannot. It just says Tom from Tabletop Tap on the bottom. So restream's being restreamed tonight.
That was
Yeah.
Tammy kissing me. She's
So,
the one who
Stevens froze.
solved my problem.
So tonight we're going to be talking about Tim Kask, and I want to do this video tonight because Tim has touched so many people's lives. And what gave me the idea is me and Jim was talking on the phone about a week ago, and I hope you don't mind me talking about this, Jim. But you made a comment, Jim, that said that Cheryl was not even aware of how much impact he has had on people's lives.
I along with another gentleman, were listed in Tim's will as executors to get all his gaming stuff into good homes, which we're just in the very early stages of. And while we were going through that process, Cheryl, I discovered how unplugged Cheryl was from Tim's career, because Tim was just Tim at home. He was everybody's dad or granddad or her husband, and he didn't play the famous card at home. So Cheryl was completely unaware. And I'm telling her, I'm like, and she doesn't go on Facebook, so she didn't see the tremendous outpouring of warmth and love.
Well, the thing is what's interesting is it kind of goes into a story that I have about Tim. And I think you were there, Jim. We were on the back of Tim's porch. And I called him an icon. And he was like, I'm not an icon. I'm just a gamer.
Yeah. And on Tim's back patio, meanwhile, the lady whose backyard abuts is over the fence whistling because she's baked everybody a pie. That's the kind of stuff that went on in Tim's real life.
Yeah. Yeah. Tim had none of this touch my ring, kiss my ring type mentality. He was just Tim. And for those of you who want to come into the stream and talk a little bit about how Tim influenced you, I just posted a link down in the restream. I'll be posting that link throughout it. So, Jim, let me ask you a question. What's a good memory that you have about Tim?
Oh,
so many, I know.
Tim used to hate it when I told the story. This is how I met Tim. He moved to Cincinnati in 1980, 81, I forget exactly when, and started up Adventure Gaming Magazine, whose offices were located inside Ralpartha. You kids out there, Ralpartha turned into Ironwind Metals. It's still around today, but it was one of the two big mini casting companies for D&D. And we had already gotten a habit. I found D&D in 79 at UK, so we would drive up to Cincinnati about once a month because Ralpartha would sell minis by lead weight. Out of the facility. So we were already making that drive, and when Tim moved down to start the magazine, we just started going up there, pestering him to publish our articles and art and stuff like that. Skip forward about 9 months, and it was in the latter days of Adventure Gaming, and they were having some financial troubles because the Reagan economy was going off the rails and people weren't paying their ad bills. So they were going down, and Adventure Gaming had stiffed me and my writing partner $20. So for $20, we spent like $3 of gas just to go to Cincinnati to demand our money from Tim. And Tim's just like, well, how about we just work it out in minis? You want to go back on the back and grab what you figure is $20 worth of minis? And we're like, oh, you're damn right we do. Deal. And that was Tim.
Eric, anything you want to talk about Tim about? Anything you remember?
Yeah, well, listen, the first time I met Tim was my first North Texas, 2014. I was with Glenn and Vince Florio. They introduced me to Tim. and Tim started talking about it. Went on it wasn't a rant, but he just started talking that high school teachers should all be armed with the students they had back in, and I was like, this is going to be interesting. But then I got to know Tim and really know Tim. And the first time he called me, and I told the story when I was at TotalCon, I'm driving my car with Rach. I still know the corner I was at when my phone rings and I see, ooh, what? Eric, like, Tim? He goes, we got to talk about this. We got to talk about the Gygax Memorial Fund and Gail. The widow.
The widow.
And I'm like, I'm like, okay. Well, listen, I'm driving right now. Can I call you back in about 10 minutes? I was like, close to home. I was like, yeah. So I get home, settle in, call Tim. He's like, I got to call you back. I'm like, I got to harvest my pot. I'm like, what the hell? He was playing pot farmer on his phone.
Oh man, that weed game and the train game he played with Tom Wong.
So he had to call me back. So I was like, okay. And we were on the phone very, very often, very frequently back then. And then the other story involved the man above me. This was at Gamehole. It was before COVID. And I'm walking through the dealer room, and Tim says, like, get over here. I want to talk to you. I'm like, and he was pissed, but he had just gone through chemo. And I, as a survivor myself, I know what chemo is like and what it can do to your brain. And he starts ranting and lecturing to me about he's worth more than 6 cents a word, and I mean, he was making a great point, but not to the person he needed to make it to. And Jim comes up from behind and goes, Eric, just walk away. He thinks you're Bill Webb.
Oh my God, I'd forgotten all about that.
Yes. Well, I'm like, oh shit. And of course, folks, if you know the industry, I don't wear my pajamas or my Crocs when I'm at a convention. All right, that's not my standard. Like, I don't look like I rolled out of bed or suddenly became homeless. I usually dress something like this, but yeah. So I've had a lot of good memories with Tim. Yeah. He was really one in a million, and he was passionate about the industry. He was passionate about the people in the industry, and he could be crotchety, but he had a heart of gold. So,
the thing is Tim could be crotchety, but the thing is once you got to know him, and you kind of got beyond that, especially if you got within his domain, his home. He was just a nice guy, just a really warm, welcoming guy. And don't ever, and I've said this before, don't ever suggest a boiled hot dog. It was grilled. And Jim, what was this? It was a special deli he went to, the meat guy.
Oh, here locally, I don't know, but he was an expert. He had a PhD in tubular meats. And
yes.
Initially, for maybe the first 6 or 7 years, we drove together to GaryCon. We always had to take this detour way east to hit Corky's Hot Dogs and get a Chicago dog. We had to stop there before we got to Lake Geneva. And they were good dogs, but I'm not sure they were worth, adding an hour to the trip.
Well, they were.
Yeah, I apologize everybody about my voice. It's just I'm just a little bit under the weather, but I'm fine. Ben Mike says the ganja story is classic. Also love the memory of how he and his grandkids showing up for a game day at the old warehouse and Doug running them through the D&D game. I'll tell you what, Tim, you talk about insta switch like to loving old grandpa mode. That was when he was around his grandkids. Boy, I'll tell you what, he was just he could be like in the middle of a rah, rah, rah. His grandkid comes in, it's like, oh, I mean, instant. Like, he loved his grandbabies. That's for sure.
I mean, his grandbabies are all adults. He loved his great grands.
Yes, great grands. Inji Joe says the Boulay was Tim Kask's answer to the overuse of dwarven pack horses in D&D. Get something that eats them. Fugly says mystery meat chromancer. That's actually a pretty cool class you do. I am a meat chromancer. Sword and Stones, how you doing? Doug Pearson says from 1970 on, nothing fed our D&D world more than the Dragon Mag, and Tim Cass was the driver of that. TD would never survive without him. Jim, what is your opinion on that? What about Tim and Dragon Magazine? And
Well, Dragon Magazine was a subset of when they split the company between TRSR Hobbies and Publications. And the stuff I don't hear anymore is Tim. It wasn't just Dragon Magazine. It was Dragon Magazine and Little Wars for a while. And close to when he left, he came up with the Days of the Dragon calendar. And the Dragon Magazine and the calendar together, there was a year, and it wasn't Tim that told me this because I asked him, did you tell me this? Where TSR Publications pulled in more money than the game side did. So he was a pioneer, and that he helped contribute to TSR staying upright as they were exploding in growth all at once. And the other thing is how much he had a hand in midwifing D&D. He didn't say this, but I thought he was a little disappointed in his thank you credit because the AD&D started with him and Gary ripping up. This would give Meinhardt a heart attack, ripping up little brown books and pasting the pages up on the wall to figure out the sections of AD&D.
Tim told me that story, that they did that. That's fascinating, though. About
Tim and Mike Carr were probably the two unsung assistant editors on all three AD&D books.
And if you could just imagine that, back then, just ripping out those pages and putting them up, and just the whole creative process is totally different nowadays. And these guys just in that freaking basement doing that, and look what they created. And I think that's the big thing here is I just think we're missing out. How do I want to put this? With Tim passing, and then we get people like, the rest of these great names that are gone. I mean, who's left? Frank Menser, Mike Carr.
Frank, Mike Carr, and Tom Wam are about it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a tier down from there where we still have a lot of the guys, Skip Williams and Alan Hammock and those guys.
Yeah, it's these people are going away now, and it's just like, it's really sad. Death Angel Shadow says, you sure he's just playing a game? I mean, I know people up in Michigan. Yeah. 07 Halo, good evening. Mercy of the Year says, I never had the privilege of meeting Tim Kask. Real shame. I'll tell you what, you missed out. Tim was just, I think for me, what I liked about Tim was he never made you feel like you were in the presence of somebody. He was just a normal guy.
Right.
And even when he talked about, he still tells stories about how him and Gary would do these blue, or what are they called?
Blue Sky Sessions.
Blue Sky Sessions, yeah. And it'd be like him and Gary smoking a cigar, drinking whiskey in Gary's office, and talking about, can you imagine if we sold 500 copies of D&D? Yeah. And it's like, then we said, could we do like 1,000 copies? And it was just the way Tim talked about it. You could tell he was like going back to that excitement period. Like, we might break 1,000 copies of D&D, And it's like, hold on to your pants, because guess what? 2 years later, you guys are really going to be, minds are blown and all this. But Bad Mike says Tim in Grandpa mode was a totally different person. Oh yeah, exactly.
He enjoyed having a reputation as kind of a curmudgeon and a rapscallion, and would occasionally get annoyed with me leaking secret information. Like he has a heart, a yard of gold, a yard wide. He does, Fishing Without Borders, which takes disabled kids out fishing. He worked the polls in his section of town. He and his wife tutored a school that they had no grandchildren or great grandchildren in. Every Wednesday they go to the church and tutor these kids in their neighborhood.
Well, and real quick, Tabletop Tapper says, I'd love to meet Tom Wam. Tom will be at WizardCon. So Tom, if you made it to WizardCon this year, you could come. Hold on. Angelia, and you know what? Don't tell me Angelia's, I cannot see them.
I see her.
Well, you're missing out because you're not seeing a redhead, for starters.
Very true. Hold on a minute. I'm going to see if I can look on YouTube and see if I can see it on YouTube.
You might have to log out and log back
I'm
in.
gonna. I think. Well, the problem is if I log out, am I gonna log back? Am I gonna be able to log back in?
You should be able to.
If not, we'll
Um,
just sit in the corner and laugh at you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna be booted on my own channel. Hold on a minute. Let's do this here.
Sorry.
You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do this hard. We're doing this hardcore old school. I got Angelia over here on YouTube.
Okay.
Okay,
Sorry, am I messing you up?
Angelia, how you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
Okay. There's a little bit of a pause here, but Angelia and Steve, how you doing over there on my screen?
Hi.
Hi, doing good.
We can hear her.
We can hear. Just
Yeah, we can hear him.
Okay.
assume that you're getting an affirmative.
You know what I'm gonna do here is nope. I'm gonna go this. I'm gonna be quiet. I'm gonna just go prompt questions, and you guys tell me when it's okay. All right.
Okay.
So Angelia, Steve, how you doing?
Good.
Good.
I'm gonna take your word for it.
I'm gonna. I'll do the signals for you. Okay.
All right. So basically, Angelia, you got. How'd you meet Tim Kask?
I met Tim through Total Confusion Game Convention. Frank Menser actually introduced us and asked him to come out.
now because I can't hear him. Eric, just go like this when they're done, and I'll act suitably impressed.
Continue with that.
Can you? Yeah, he came out for the first time with Frank Menser, and that's how I got to meet him.
You got to look at the screen to know what I'm doing, Don. It's my screen, our screen. We all screen Fry screen.
So like that was what, for 10 years he was a regular at TotalCon, right?
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
I know that's how I ended up there.
Oh yeah, that's right. You were the carpool buddy.
They flew out. I don't think they drove
All right,
out.
this is
No,
what
no,
I'm
we
gonna do.
didn't drive.
I'm gonna do something real quick. I'm gonna log out and log back in.
All right.
We're gonna try something here. Okay. If I don't come back, enjoy the show, folks. I'll see you tomorrow. All right. Let me get out of here.
I just want to say
Let me
that
do this.
TotalCon,
Let me.
one of the highlights at TotalCon is the cupcake sale.
Okay, how do I get out
The
of here?
bacon on the cupcakes. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, you like
know
those?
what?
I like the TARDIS cupcakes.
Oh, I love the everything's better with bacon. And the bacon cupcakes that they were selling at TotalCon were just killer.
This,
That's Quigley cupcakes.
yep. This is
Yeah.
the first year I did not do cupcakes because Rach wasn't there and I was able to control myself. And I
Uh-oh.
was like, because
Yeah,
Rach
we-
was there, we would have like enabled each other, and it would have been bad.
But
Holy crap! I can see everybody.
you guys in
Yay.
TotalCon,
Hey, Don.
I'm still froze too, but oh well.
all I can reputably say is you guys in TotalCon are close to Boston because I can pronounce Boston. I'm not real good at pronouncing Worcester.
Worcester. Yeah.
Yeah. But
What's
even
that?
though we're in Cincinnati and you're in Worcester, you guys used to come through. I've been on Tim's back porch with you.
Yes.
You're doing the Bourbon Trail or something.
Yes.
Yes. Yep.
So just let everybody know, I can see everybody now.
Yay.
All right. So Angela, by the way, thank you very much for being so understanding of us missing TotalCon this year.
Oh, not a problem. Absolutely.
So how are things with you all?
We're doing pretty good.
Yeah,
Good.
fine. Everything's good. Yeah, TotalCon was good. We had a blizzard as it closed, so
Thing, yes.
and I was stuck there for 2 additional days. Or Angel was there for an extra day, and I was
Yeah.
stuck there for 2 additional days. But you
So-
know, it's New England. Snow happens.
So I got to ask something. What are you may have already answered this. I apologize because I was couldn't do it. But when it comes to TotalCon, what is one of the better memories you have of Tim regarding TotalCon?
I have a couple.
Share them by all means.
One was the second or third year he was visiting, and he came and he presented me with a medallion. He said only 11 had been made,
Nice.
and he actually gave one of them to me. which was very touching for me, obviously. And then the second is I actually played my very first role-playing game at a convention with Tim.
Really?
Yeah, and
Wow.
had a blast.
Damn, that's like a good memory. I mean, that's a big memory. I mean,
Yeah.
Tim
Yes,
Cash,
it
your
is.
first RPG.
Yep.
Nice.
And then I guess the last one would be when he told me he wasn't going to be able to come out anymore because he was, getting a little older and was sticking to mostly closer cons or one where he could go out and see family. And yeah, he gave me a hug. He's like, we're friends now. It's no longer just like convention person, and because he had a very strict policy. He wouldn't take pictures with other people with his arms around him or anything. He
Yeah.
said that was the thing with him and his wife, and he promised, so we had reached a point where our relationship went beyond just the convention stuff, and it
So
actually
you
went
got,
to
you
real
got
friendship.
the arm.
Yes, I did.
All right.
Well, I mean, he cooked you tubular meats.
Yes, he did.
That's right.
And his famous hamburgers.
Yeah. See, my privilege is he cooked a hot dog for me on the grill. I was in. I was in the inner
That's when you
circle.
knew you were in.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you get the lecture. He spends like 10 minutes talking about his meat guy, how
Yeah.
that guy does the right meat.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
But real quick, I'll show you guys something. This is gonna be at WizardCon. This is gonna be the Tim Kask Memorial Award. Oh, you can't really see it. Darn it.
You
Nope.
3D
No.
printed that in black, sir.
Actually, I printed it normal and I primed it in black because it's resin.
Oh.
And I want to block the UV rays from getting to it, making it brittle.
Ah,
Method to my madness. So, also, we're doing a thing at WizardCon where all the proceeds from the auction are going to be going to the local community college because there is going to be a Tim Kask. It basically is an informal thing for kids in his name that's going to pay for their Photoshop and Illustrator certifications through Adobe. So
Oh,
we're gonna
nice.
be putting all the proceeds from WizardCon to that.
That was exactly one of the things I shared with Cheryl the last time I was over at the house that just blew
Nice.
her mind.
Yeah.
She had no idea stuff like that was going on.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. Tim had an impact on me, a really huge impact on me. I mean, I've met a lot of famous people before, but Tim just was on a real granular level. Just you didn't, like I was saying earlier, he didn't make you feel like you had to kiss the ring. He was just a genuinely nice man, and his enthusiasm, like WizardCon, I would not have had WizardCon, me and my wife, if it wasn't for him, because we were talking on the phone one night. I was like, I'm thinking about doing a game convention. She's like, why not? Do it. I'm like, well, I mean, I don't know, Tim. He's like, you know what? Get a freaking pen and pencil. We're going to talk. And I spent like an hour and a half on the phone with him. And he's dictating how I'm doing WizardCon. I was like, yes, sir. I'm going to follow step A, step B, step C. And he was just so enthusiastic. And that's the thing about Tim. When you could tell when he was excited about something because he was, and I'm not trying to demean him, but he was like childlike almost. That excitement, that real base excitement that he had.
Well, that's a compliment. So
yeah.
Yeah, I think it is. And Tim just, like I said earlier, and I'm sure you ran into this, Angeline, Steve, is the fact that you refer to him as like you're an icon. He'd be like, I'm not an icon, I'm a gamer. And that said a lot. And he wasn't doing it as a cliche. You genuinely knew he thought of himself that way.
Mm.
No, he was a teacher. That's what he was.
Yeah.
He taught us all gaming. He taught us how to do gaming. Even when he got out of gaming, he went and was a teacher. And then he was teaching you how to do a convention. That's what he was. He was instructing everybody else on, what he thought was the right way to do stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
well,
was right
the
some of the
damnable
time,
thing
most of the
about it
time.
all was the damn thing about it all was he was always right. I mean, like when I was a young man and getting into it, Tim and the Ralph Arthur guys ran CincyCon here in town, and they ran it up through the mid '80s, and it was great. It's never been as good since.
Yeah.
So he knew what he was talking about. Speaking of which, this is my chance to publicly thank you two, Angela and Steve, for hooking me up with that bad boy.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
You're
Nice.
welcome.
Yeah,
Honorary
you're welcome.
Timcast pin, and
I am jealous.
You,
I have mine on my desk to look at
Yep.
all the time.
all you got to do is ask Don, because that's what they're for.
Yep.
Well, I'm gonna ask because I have no shame when it comes to that. That is part of my. I've got like the boulet that Tim gave me. Then you gave me one, Jim.
Yes,
Thank you
I
very
have a
much.
boulet.
Yeah, I got a
Yep.
belay.
And don't ever call it a bullet.
Yep.
Yeah,
He did that at WizardCon. A guy did that at WizardCon. Said, "I love your bullet you made." I'm not even going to repeat the F word that was used in response to that. It ain't no effing bullet. It's a boulet.
That's what the pin says on the top of it. It's pronounced boulet.
No, it really got the guy worked up. The guy thought Tim was pissed, and I pulled the guy off the side. I was like, "Listen, you got to understand. This is near and dear to his heart. He wasn't jumping on you. He was jumping at the name. You know, there's a difference." He's like, "I didn't
Tim
make the guy
caused the
mad."
closest event to being on the Big Bang Theory I've ever personally experienced. It was very early Gary Con. It might have been Gary Con 5. And me and Zach Glazer are chumming it up, sitting next to each other at one of his games. It was way before the Wheel of Blame. So it was a legit Timcast D&D adventure we're running through. And some little, maybe barely 30 years old at the end of the table suddenly has a problem. And starts interrupting Tim, and Tim's like, "What's going on? What do you need?" And he goes, "You're not running this game right." And he got up and walked all the way down to the end of the table and leaned to the screen and started explaining to Tim how D&D is properly run. And I didn't know what the sound of 8 chairs squeaking backwards from the table at once sounded like until that moment. And in Tim's defense, for Tim, he kept it in check. I mean, he didn't raise his voice, he didn't curse, but he didn't really have to.
No, Tim had that unique tone. You know, my
Yeah.
grandfather had that tone when he used
dad voice.
tone. Yeah, it was like my mom. When my mom would call you by your full name, Donald Samora. Oh shit, not Donald, not Don, but when she called you by the full name, you were a had. And it was like, oh boy.
He used that tone with me during my interview of him.
Oh yeah, he
When
did.
When I said to him, I said, when Aries, when they put Aries magazine, the Aries section in Dragon magazine, he goes, "Aries was never part," and I just let it slide. I know for a fact it was, because I used to go and buy those Dragon magazines and go right straight to Aries to look for the sci-fi shit. And excuse me. And
That's all right.
You always curse.
and he just, and I was like, gonna let that slide. I've been chastised, and Aries in Dragon
You got
was
chastised
before
by
his time,
Timcast,
and-
Tom.
No.
That's like an honor. Like
Thank you,
I need
thank
to
you,
make a-
Tom. Now that the preacher man has cursed, that frees me up to
That's
stop
right.
guarding my mouth. So much.
I need to make a certificate. I got my ass chewed by Tim Kask.
I'm a seminary dropout, basically. So
Isn't that a song? Seminary dropout.
Nice.
it should be a country western song, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. So let me ask people here. What do you? I mean, Jim, you probably know this better than anybody. But what are some of Tim's that you guys remember pet peeves? I got a couple of them.
I can explain the backbone of Tim and I's friendship was such that we could both freely be ourselves. What's going on?
Oh, we just had to go. We're actually running an online game. We just wanted to pop in for a
Oh
minute.
crap, Angelina! Thank you very
Oh,
much,
no, no.
Steve.
That's okay.
By all means, thank you
Great
very
Love
much.
you
for
guys.
coming
Good to
in
see you.
tonight.
Yeah,
We
take
appreciate
care.
it.
You all
Enjoy
love
the
your
online
connection.
game. Sorry for interrupting.
No problem. Have a
No
good one.
worries. Tell Steve thank you. So you were saying, Jim,
I forgot.
you were talking about
Backbone of your and Tim Cass relationship.
Oh! I mean, because it's like 7 hours from Cincinnati to Lake Geneva, and I mean, neither one of us would be employable in the game industry if recordings of what we said to each other survived. I could just be myself, speak my mind around Tim, vice versa, and occasionally that one of us would aim those guns at each other. And my defensive trick I learned a long time ago was just to say the magic words Dave Arneson, and Tim would turn on a dime and start yelling about him instead of me.
Well, real quick, I want to say something real quick to everybody in the chat and watching this. I'm getting ready to post a link. If you want to come on the show, you can and talk a little bit about Tim, maybe some way that you knew him, met him. It's right there. It's the restream. Click on that, and you can come in the chat. You're welcome to.
Okay.
Anybody, doesn't matter who you are.
Well, before that all starts to happen, I'd like to
go
jump in. I was in high school, and I loved D&D. All of us did, and but I was getting in trouble. I was getting Fs in algebra. I was being picked up by the security police on the Air Force Base, and my dad had to come get me. I was getting in trouble as a freshman, and so I was forced to go into Upward Bound, and the Upward Bound counselor, he got to know me, and at the end of the year, he did this thing where he kind of wrote this vision for what he saw for you.
Nice.
And his vision for me was an editorship at Dragon Magazine, which never happened. But years later, I'm injured, and I got tired of sitting on the couch watching court TV. You can only take so much Judge Judy, honestly. And so I go online and I find Star Frontiers revival happening and Star Frontiers magazine, and I start to get involved, and I was like, I'm living the dream of that counselor planted that seed. And then I helped found the Frontier Explorer magazine with Tom Stevens, and so then this whole vlogger thing happens, and YouTube happens, and kind of pushed into that. And I start trying to reach out to some of my heroes, like Doug Niles, and so I interviewed Doug Niles, and wonderful man. And then
you interviewed Doug Niles.
I did, yeah.
Nice.
Because I'm interested in Star Frontiers, and Doug Niles wrote Nighthawks.
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
Cool. So, and then I mailed him a bunch of modules. I said, "Would you mind signing these?" And of course he did. And then, I sent a few out as gifts. But so then I was like, "Oh, who else can I interview?" So I was like, I contacted, very trepidatiously, because I'm like, oh, he's the curmudgeon in the cellar, and I contacted him, and he was gracious, and he came on the show, and I interviewed him, and I don't know, an hour and a half, 2 hours. And then we talked for like another 2 hours when the camera was off, and just shooting the crap. And, my wife's a teacher, my wife's in education, and I was actually teaching at the time. And so we just connected on that. I have a daughter with special needs, and Jim, you know his heart for special needs kids. And, so we just connect, and my dad was Air Force, and, we talked Vietnam War. We talked a little bit about pot, because I don't do pot, but special needs and teaching and D&D. And, I was hoping to get some juicy tidbits about Star Frontiers, but he had none for me. But, and I told my wife, I says, this interview is going to be me as an editor of a fan magazine kissing the ring of the first editor of Dragon Magazine. Yeah. And there was no kiss the ring before I talk to you. There's none of that. And
that's the thing about Tim, though. Tim was in no way that way. I remember
gracious.
Yeah. The first time I met Tim face to face, we did the recording for D20 Delving. And, I remember him coming in, and I was thinking like this aura of light behind him, and he shook my hand, and let's get going. Let's keep going. It's like right to business, Tim was. But I'll tell you something. When he flipped that switch on, it was all business, and he was so professional.
Yeah.
And then you showed up, Jim. You knocked on the door, and that was when we were doing the recordings. And it's like, I guess the best I could put is I just miss that guy. I miss the hell out of him. And,
I got to tell you, I'm not over it. And
neither am I.
How long's it been?
Yeah.
Because we were like the private joke between me, Cheryl, and Tim was I was his second wife, because we're on the phone constantly, and like, just human thesaurus phone calls. I need a word for blah, 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 that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. And, so those situations will come up now. And I'm just like, that's when it catches up with me. And I go, oh, fuck.
Yeah, I can't even imagine how you feel, because I know how I feel. And I was, I thought I was deep in, but you were way deeper in than anybody. And, even today, I just think back and I'm like,
Well, I don't think our industry and our fandom are any different than any other industry or fandom. That's been my experience out there in the real world. But what we all have in common is, there's sometimes we forget to separate what's real from what's not real, or what's real for the industry in
Yeah.
real life. I don't know exactly how to explain what I mean, but I just got myself out on a conversational limb and can't remember where I was going.
well, you're fine.
I gotta say about Jim Wampler's Mud Puppy Games. I ordered some stuff from you, and there was extra stuff in the package, and I just appreciated that so much. Mud Puppy Games is such a class act, and if anybody's out there, in the chat, go check out Mud Puppy Games. Order something from them. They're just a class act, and I love the Gary Gygax and Arneson miniatures I ordered from you. By the way, they're not painted yet, but they're on the to-do list. But I'm a typical war gamer. Mountain of lead. It gets bigger. It never gets smaller.
But you were saying, Jim, real quick.
Oh, well, first, thank you. I think that's what my AA sponsor says I'm supposed to say. Thank you. But no, like the difference between real Tim and industry Tim. This is the perfect story. When Tim and I met back in '81, but not, he got out of gaming, I got out of gaming. So I'm coming back we re-met about 16 or 17 years ago. And we both shown up at an author event at a game store, and all I had going on at the time was Marvin the Mage webcomic that like a couple of
Oh, come on. All you had. That is by far the best webcomic I've ever seen. I'm not kissing your ass. I've said that to you many times. Marvin the Mage rocks.
Thank you.
I said it.
But here, I'm sorry, I'm long talking like Tim, so I'll be your simulated Tim. You ask me one question and I go for 20 minutes. But
okay.
So from that encounter, we conned Tim into running an OD&D campaign. So like for a year and a half in this game store, way back 15 years ago or more, Tim ran us through a campaign, which was awesome. So that's how I got to my first Gary Con. We were outside smoking in the back, and Tim's like, he had lost his road trip buddy. And he's like, you want to come? And he was so respectful when he asked. He goes, listen, you can come. We'll share the driving. And out of respect for your sobriety, I won't even hit my weed pipe on the trip up.
Nice.
And to which I just responded, well,
right there.
If that bothered me, I wouldn't be very much of a sobriety. So how about this? You just keep it between the lines. And if you get messed up where you can't, I'll drive and we'll solve it. Yeah. How kind is that? But then in practice, we get into the trip and I have to listen to, what are you smoking? That goddamn cigarette. It smells like a turd, dog turd, He's sitting there having what he's having and complaining about my smokes.
Yeah, he's smoking something that smells like a skunk's ass, and he's bitching about your cigarettes.
Yeah.
So Eric, let me ask you a question real quick.
Yeah.
Besides the interact, how much interaction have you had really with Tim? A lot or a little or?
When I was investigating the Gygax Memorial Fund, Tim and I were on the phone at least once a week. It was always like an update and did you check into this? And he was good with his ideas because Tim knew nonprofits. He had been involved in nonprofits. He knew the requirements. And once the Gygax stuff was kind of settled, we really weren't that much in contact until I would see him at conventions, and then WizardCon last year we spent more time there than we had probably in years.
Well, the funny thing is, you talk about the Gygax Memorial Fund investigation. The most classic thing with Tim is Gail. He refused to use her name. He called her the Widow.
Yep, the Widow. The
Widow. And I remember one time going, are you talking about Gail? He's like, the Widow. I'm like, okay. But The thing is I've talked to a lot of people about Tim Kask, and they all pretty much say the same thing about him, and that is, you get to know him. He's a totally different man,
Yes.
and
Bad Mike Battleotto is in the comments talking about how Doug built all of Tim's computers, including the last one he used, and Tim would get clicky with the mouse button. And if it was when Doug was alive, he'd call Doug or me, because I'm local. I'm like 15 minutes from the house. But after Doug passed, a Mac guy, became Tim's sole Windows support person.
yeah, because Tim refused to do anything.
I'm the
but
guy who
Windows.
had to get Tim from Windows 7 up to 10.
Oh
God
God.
bless you. God bless you, my child.
Yeah. There's a reason why I over the course of a couple of years I migrated my extended family to Mac.
That's Tim. I love it.
Well, Windows is a fine operating system. I don't want to start that. I have
No, I
Windows.
know.
I have Windows installed on my Mac. But,
Right, but
it's not. It's no. 15 years ago, I was good at both systems. I'm no longer a Windows expert.
that's kind of like me. But not only that, my family doesn't screw up Macs. They would find ways to screw up Windows. And
Well,
it's
the
like,
thing is Tim, if anything, was once he was comfortable with it, he was done. That was it. Tim's locked in. And I remember talking to him one time. He was like, I'm like, you need to learn how to design stuff, Tim. Like, get Corel or Adobe, Photoshop. He's like, fuck that shit. I ain't getting that shit. It's like, nope. We got someone joining the stream. Hold on a minute. DM Kojo, how you doing?
Hey, Corey.
Hey guys, how's it going?
I guess this is Corey. Corey, thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, no problem. Pretty cool you guys are doing this. I just saw the link. I wanted to just jump in real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
I didn't know Tim well, but certainly encountered him at cons a few times. Did play in one of his games with my brother Adam at Gamehole, and the Wheel of Blame game, which is classic. In that it really allows us to come up with ideas about the game, and Tim just spontaneously working them into a game. I remember, so my brother Adam didn't play much D&D growing up. He and I actually kind of met through that side of the family just a few years ago, and since then he and I have become regular con buddies. And he leaned over at one point when Tim was like, roll some D6s and we'll see what happens. And he leaned over and he said, is that how it's supposed to be done? I just leaned back and I said, well, that's how Tim does it. That's how it's supposed to be done.
That's how it's supposed to be done.
So, and I know it was supposed to be an OD&D game, but I think it was really Tim just having fun, being spontaneous, kind of interacting with the players. It was, DM
Kojo, you say something interesting about Tim, and this is something Tim used to say to me a lot, is that's what it's all about, theater of the mind.
Yeah.
And he used to say how that's kind of like becoming a lost art with people, especially modern gaming, is people are losing that ability to think on the fly. And he told me once, he goes, the key to a good DM is being able to think on the fly, use their mind as the theater, and think ahead of your players. And he's just right. I mean, the guy was just a vessel of knowledge about it.
Well, and that's an aspect of my own DMing that I've tried to improve. But it's almost like, afterwards talking with my brother, I said, it's kind of like Tim was creating like an Iron Chef DM experience for himself, right? Like, you guys give me a bunch of things to work with. Yep. I'm going to weave them together. We're going to see where the story goes. He didn't have it pre-planned. He was just adjusting to, whatever creative stuff we came up with, and, rule book be damned. He was just going to, make it a fun experience. And it was an amazing experience. So,
well, the funny thing is, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm also glad my oldest son, Chase, had a chance to meet him and get one of his Dragon magazines signed by Tim and have a brief conversation with him at one Gary Con. And then the following Gary Con, he was able to play with Tim. So that was cool too.
I got to share something that just happened this week on Monday. In fact, Corey, I was at work at my brother's place at work, cleaning my office, and my brother and a couple of people came in, and they happened to catch me holding that drawing Chase did of his character death at Gen Con 49 or something.
Yeah.
Because I was going to tape it up. It came out of, I'd moved offices. It came out of a box. I was going to put it up on the wall, and they're all like, "Oh, that's cute. A little kid drew that." And I'm like, "That little kid's in college now."
Yeah. He's sophomore in college and he's taller than I am. So, and I'm 6'7". So, you know,
But that
But
goofy
yeah.
little, I still have that goofy little drawing he did for me of how his character died.
well,
But that's
that-
kind of funny though, because it's like my wife the other day said that she has one of the substitute teachers was like, "Do I know you?" My wife was like, "Yeah, I taught you kindergarten." And it's like my wife literally taught this substitute teacher, was in kindergarten, was her teacher for kindergarten. It's like, yeah, you're getting old, Tina.
yeah.
You know,
I feel that. I'm starting to get some of that
Yeah.
too. So, well, I just wanted to stop in and share that
thank you very much
that
for coming
story
in.
about Tim. So,
That's what this
Talk
is
to you
all
guys.
about. Thank you.
thanks. Yep.
All right. Again, anybody, if you're interested in coming in and sharing your story, by all means, you guys can go in, click this link right here, and share your story. But I think the big thing about Tim, for me, his legacy will be, it's not anything tangible. I've got a couple modules he signed, like All's Not Well in Boscadell. We were redoing that when he passed away tragically. Also Onto the Devil's Skillet was another one we were redoing. So those things are tangible. I can hold those. Yeah, it's Tim's signature on it. But I'll tell you something. Just with me, it's just the photographs and the memories I have of him. I remember, like I said, the many times on a back porch, just sitting there and talking and listening to him. The guy just was a vessel of knowledge. And he wasn't arrogant about it. He was just telling, like when he talked about him and Gary Gygax, he wasn't like going, "Me and Gary Gygax." It was just him talking like just like me and the schmo next door was sitting there on the back porch. It's like Tim was just so humble.
Mm.
What do you think, Jim?
We used to talk about this all the time, especially in regards to some other industry notables that I'm not going to get into.
Yeah.
And we were able to work out conversation. You can't be a creative without having an ego the size of a gas giant.
Yeah.
So the what's the difference between Tim and or even me? Any of us in this chat, we're all creators. You've
Right.
got to have the outsized ego. What's the difference between us and some of the assholes who have egos the size of the Horsehead Nebula? And what we came up with is just self-awareness. If you know it,
Yeah.
you can put a leash on it,
Right.
give it a name and try and control it
Yeah, you don't have to.
with like simple maneuvers, like just be kind to somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
Just be kind.
Yep. Just be kind.
Or as my wife likes to say, don't be an asshole.
Well, right. I don't want to turn into a preacher, but I never found it especially difficult to attend a game convention and behave myself.
Yeah.
Just what do you got to do? Walk the halls, be kind and sometimes gracious.
Yeah, I remember Tim told me a story. In fact, I think it was Gary Con he was at. I think it was the last Gary Con he attended, but he was at a game and he was running it. And one of the players got on his ass pretty bad. And Tim lost it. Like Tim said, I got in his ass, like in front of everybody. I remember him telling me that. And it's like,
Was it anything to do with a cleric taking on a type
Yes.
demon? I
Yes.
have video footage of that thanks to my brother and sister-in-law
do
being
you?
in that game, and I promised him I would never release the footage while he was alive.
Yeah.
I gotta go, and it just caught up with me. Oh,
Yeah.
now I need to go dig that up because
Damn.
he just had some little snotty 5e player
Yep.
who they TPK'd, and this was
Yep.
this was so far long ago. Tim was in chemo, so I wasn't at that game. My brother and sister-in-law were there, and when the TPK started to happen, my brother just said, me and my wife, I'm going to dimension door straight up and try and hit the surface. They were out of there. The rest, and Tim's like, well, it's a type 6 demon or 7, whatever it was. That's pretty much the game. And this one kid goes, nope, my cleric can beat your evil devil and you cannot defeat me because that's not how it works in D&D. And Tim's like, well, in my universe, I wouldn't be so sure. And he did climb in the guy's ass, but the kid was asking for it.
Yeah.
I just want
And it's like one of those 2-hit slap fights. Roll, boom, you're dead.
Done.
I just want to go back to what you were saying, Don. That my father had just died previously when I was interviewing Tim. And that 2 hours, we just sat and talked. I felt like I was talking with my dad,
Yeah.
who I just lost.
Yep.
And it was just like talking with dad. And it was just so comforting.
Yep.
And so it was one of the reasons why I loved him so much.
Yeah. And that's the thing with Tim is Tim had this ability to, and I don't know. I'll give you an example. It's like when my daughter died. I remember him calling me up and going, look, I know this is good. I'm not worth a shit saying this to you, but he kind of got a little broken up on the phone with me. And I remember that. And I remember Tim going, no matter what you call me, I'm here, Don. And what the thing is, he meant it. That was the thing. It wasn't just bullshit platitudes that you get from a lot of people. I mean, it's just like with Tom and Steve and you, Jim, and Eric and such. You all have done that to me. If you need me, call me 3 a.m., 2 a.m. And I know you guys mean it. And that's the difference, I think, with Tim was when, you knew, Tim didn't just give the platitudes. Tim was legitimate and genuine in how he felt. And, like I said, he was a curmudgeon in the cellar. And real quick, I don't mean to get off on a tangent here, but I got to ask you, Jim, have you thought about maybe on his YouTube channel, like occasionally just doing like maybe something like rehash some old videos together?
Well, first, let me say it because I can see from chat there are some people that prior to this didn't even know who Tim was. If you'd like to meet Tim, the best way to do it is he's got like over 300 episodes of his YouTube show, Curmudgeon in the Cellar, on YouTube, and it will be there as long as I can help it. I mean, the spirit's willing, but the body's not right now. Don, didn't answer your question. There's a lot of things I'd love to do, but I'm just coming around some health issues of my own, and I'm grieving Tim hard. So, I'm having trouble going over there and taking pictures so we can start getting his stuff organized. Kind of going through it hard. I'll get there in the end.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I did it with my daughter. I mean, it's tough. Just looking at a photo.
When he was around, the way I did it was I would just find myself with a couple of extra hours every week and do a fancy new opening for a show.
Yeah. And just for the people who don't know about this, is Tim always recorded his shows on Thursday night. And then Jim would take over, and Jim was the guy behind the editing and the meshing and the putting the intro in and all that. So Mr. Wampler here to my right or to my left, depending on how you look at the screen, he was also part of the Curmudgeon in the Cellar really deeply, because without Jim, there'd be no Curmudgeon in the Cellar.
I just, it's one of those things I had to do. Tim had an original guy who crossed swords with him once. And, as Mike Battleotto just noted, Tim did not suffer fools lightly. So that's when I took over the editing.
Yep. But, well, we've been on an hour, and, I was hoping more people would come in, but, I understand, I appreciate everybody who did come in. And again, thank you guys for coming in, talking a little bit about Tim. It just sucks that he's gone. I mean, I miss the guy a lot. I really do. I love the guy to death. And, he's just one of those rare people that, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to put in words.
I appreciate you doing this, Don, because this is what it's for. It's our chance to just talk through it a little bit.
Yeah.
TotalCon had a very nice memorial.
Yes.
I had no plans on talking when I was there, and then as it went on, I realized, all right, somebody has to show the other side to Tim, because my interactions with Tim make me laugh when I think about him, and not because Tim was funny, but just because the way it interacted, the way it happened, it was pure Tim. And I mean, and that was very special. And he touched a lot of lives. And a lot of people probably don't even realize that he touched their lives. Yeah. So But
You know, and the fact that he was an educator, because this happens all the time. We're out in a Target store in Augusta, Maine, and one of the clerks comes up to my wife and says, "You taught me in such and such grade," because Tammy's had this long career in education here in Maine, and so the fact that we're not even scratching the surface, I think.
No, not even.
no.
Because of his whole education career and then the tutoring and stuff. I don't think we're even scratching the surface of
Real quick, John Scott, how the hell you doing, my friend?
Okay.
For those of you who do not know, this is the man, the legend behind the AD&D group on Facebook.
Thank you.
God bless you for the patience to do that.
John, thank you.
Nice to meet you, John.
So what's up? You want to share a little story about Tim, or?
Yeah, I think there's some sound errors.
The sound will be a little delayed on your computer,
Well,
John.
yeah, but he might be. You got to check to see what microphone it's using. It might be using your camera mic as opposed to your other mic. I've had that happen. It is annoying as hell.
Yeah, I only have a camera mic. I hope I'm coming through loud and clear.
We can hear you fine.
Yeah,
Yep.
Yep.
Right.
Oh, but before you start, I got to drop out because I got to go to my Discord. But
Eric, thank you.
Eric, love you.
See you, Eric.
thank you for having me.
Oh, okay. I can go ahead. I actually wrote down some notes.
Sure.
First one is that I never met him in person, but online a lot, like going back to the Dragon's Foot days when
Yeah.
he was fighting his cancer and he was successful in that battle back then. And then the next one, once he called me the archivist, and I hope that doesn't go to my head. I mean, that was like, oh my God, holy moly, he called me the archivist, kind of thing. And then my next on the list is the importance of Tim as a midwife for AD&D. There's a lot of people out there who don't know his role in the creation of the game. Tim was a solid original D&D guy, but as the story goes, it's my favorite story, from Tim. Tim and Gary locked themselves in a room for 6 days or 7 days. I'm paraphrasing, of course. And the only calls that they would take would be the calls from, their wives. And yeah, they had OD&D materials and scissors and glue and, really high-tech stuff. And then with that, in those 6 days, an outline was created. And I think if a person is designing a role-playing game, that's an excellent technique to have an outline. It's not graven in stone, but a kind of vision for what he wanted to do. Of course, he was the first editor of Dragon Magazine, and then there were 3 others that followed during the 1E era. So around issue number 20, we see the first mention of the Monster Manual, and I think he was with the Dragon for up to about issue 35. And then after it was Jake Jacquet for a while, and then Kim Ohan and Roger Moore. But anyway, I'm going off on a Dragon Magazine tangent, and here's a fun story that probably no one knows about. I was, I'm not rich, so I live in community housing, and I said to Tim one day, you know what, I'm thinking of making a games club, And when I said that, he was like, immediate, get on Skype. And he sat there, Tim was very busy, of course. He sat there and he gave me a whole hour of his time listing out all these board games. And I remember right at the beginning, I was freaking out because I'm like, oh my God, I can't find a pencil. All I had was this magic green marker. So I was taking the notes, and I have the list somewhere around here. I mean, he was a great guy, and he was like a gamer's gamer, And really the only thing that I miss is not having, seen him in person, over the years. And then 5, 6, and 7 on the list. I don't know if I should say here.
Say it.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
fine.
Oh, okay. Back in.
It's okay if you don't, because I have a few of those myself.
Yeah. All right. Well, there's a site called Dragon's Foot, which you guys probably know of. It's like the #1 AD&D site that I know of. And I got myself, in trouble with the admins. Steve, who is the head honcho of that place, he was beyond patient and tolerant with me. my ban from the forums, nobody's fault but mine. But as a kind of mercy, they allowed me to hang around in the chat room, right? So Tim would come in the chat room all the time, and there's just a comment he made, once, LSD is for fools. I was probably going on a rant about, LSD or something. And it's just like these small moments of time, these memories, Another thing I remember is that he was a fan of Deep Purple, and so I'm going to listen to some Deep Purple later on tonight. And for the record, once, he referred to himself as a hippie, which is something I admire, love, peace, nature. Can you get better than that? And also, yeah, he was a Vietnam vet, but I never asked him for the details, but that was part of his life experience and who he was as a person, and then I have as number 7, a lot more, so if I could give advice to people out there who are fans of D&D and AD&D, it would be get up early on Saturday morning and watch all of Curmudgeon from the Cellar. I mean, that's one of the greatest sources for the game.
Binge watch.
Yeah, binge watch, definitely. Just maybe get up between episodes and stretch your legs. Yeah.
I think that'll be that's a real true part of Tim's legacy is the Curmudgeon in the Cellar. Just giving his time to just answer the average guy and gal's questions, just normal people, and he cared. You can tell he really gave a shit because he just really immersed himself in some of the questions. But
it's awesome in life when you can find somebody who really gives a shit.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't. But when you find somebody, you're like, oh, yeah, there we go, right there.
Yep.
And luckily, if a person posts stuff to YouTube, usually it is actually up there for quite a long while. Unless there's other issues. But to create a permanent archive of Curmudgeon in the Cellar, I think that would be an awesome thing to do. With the archive.org site based in San Francisco, which have done incredible work. Archiving basically everything. So
real quick, Agile Monk, thank you very much. Agile Monk did a $10 super chat, much appreciated, and gifted 10 memberships. Again, Agile Monk is a huge supporter of the community. Dear Doug Pearson says Tim was a fan of Deep Purple. We would have bonded over that even without D&D. I wore out Machine Head on vinyl and had to buy another.
That's a good problem.
Yeah. And then we got the people receiving. Brad Holt received a gift membership. Patty Hotterness, John Wee, Christoph 64, Setate 93. Again, Matthew. Just a whole bunch of people getting super chats. And then, real quick, Bruce Lombardo says, member for 6 months. The Tavern's Minions. And then people are just basically getting memberships. Thank you very much, everybody. But, John, thank you also.
I wrote that down, John, because it hadn't occurred to me. I live on that on the archive.org site all the time anyway.
Really? Wow. That's
we at Savor Half podcast, we use that to host our MP3s.
No, what is it exactly, guys? I'm not familiar with the site.
It's a treasure trove, and sometimes things will go up and get yanked down. But for instance, if you grew up in my era and you wanted to read the entire run of Starlog magazine, it's there. You want to look at old TV guides or Christmas catalogs from Sears, it's there.
And it's called archive.org?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. It's the same website as the Wayback Machine, which is what everybody uses to see what a website looked like 20 years ago.
Yeah. And I have a site over here. It's 50,000 files. So what I'm hoping to do is actually literally go to San Francisco. They have kind of like an open house on Fridays. Walk in, give them, the mothership a big external hard drive, and say, hey, can you, back this up for me? And hopefully, the stuff that we do today in the whole OSR will be accessible to people, say, 100 years from now or something like that. Yeah. Because, the sad part of life is that we're all starting to age and, get, white beards and gray hair.
Yeah, BD Squirrel says, I'd love to have met Tim Kask. All of you guys have been saying about him. Made me look for his YouTube channel and subscribe. I'll be watching. That's the whole point. If we can get a few people from this video to just go to his YouTube and sub and watch his videos, guess what? Job is done.
Yeah.
It was
Bruce Lombardo, thank you very much again. Another guy, $20 super chat.
3 or 4 years ago. I was before I had this cat. I was house sitting for Tim and Cheryl to house sit their cats, and he wasn't going to be able to record an episode. And I said, "Well, how about me and Mike Stewart, my co-host from Save Our Half? He's pretty curmudgeonly. Can the two of us do a substitute show?" So we did that, figuring the two of us could at least add up. Mike's a curmudgeon. I'm a curmudgeon. The two of us together should add up to one Tim's worth of curmudgeon. Now, not so much in practice as it turned out. Tim just had his ways, and they bar duplication.
You know what we ought to do? We ought to start a website called I'm a curmudgeon.com or something like that, where people can immortalize themselves, their photo, when they became the curmudgeon, what they played, and just a little bit about them. And it's just nothing but images of people and who they are and what they are and everything. I know. Wishful thinking.
I think it's a great idea, and it's not something that is very difficult to do. I mean, I've got a site with 50,000 files. That's difficult to do.
It's easy stuff.
It's something like that. I think would be great. And if I could offer an idea, it would be to maybe have like a little bibliography of published works, or something like that.
That's actually a good idea.
Hey, you really are the archivist.
Yeah.
So I have fun with it. I mean, he was asking me a question about an early Dragon magazine article about the Dragon that he couldn't find. So I said to him, "Okay, yeah, I'll get back to you in 24 hours." Within an hour, I was like, "Oh yeah, it's issue so and so," and that's when he called me the archivist. And hopefully, it doesn't go to my head too much, right?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to say something to you, my friend. You have done a lot for the gaming community, John, and your hard work and your constant creation regarding AD&D and that group and such. Thank you. Seriously, you are probably one of the movers and shakers of the AD&D community on Facebook.
Thanks very much. I mean, it's an honor, and I would never accept money for anything that I do. But I do sometimes get like gifts in the mail, like a Temple of Elemental T-shirt or something like that, and that just blows me away, right? And the admin team that I work with, and Don, you were an admin too for a while.
Yep.
And I thank you for your diligence and everything. But I mean, that group in the past had real problems with infighting and people, like and I admit, like I've left that group a couple times for a couple weeks. Like, I'm done with this. I can't stand the fighting. And then of course I always come back, right? So that's. I have this great sense of gratitude towards the AD&D community and the OSR in general. I think it's awesome, and I'm having fun every step of the way, except when it's like tech problems,
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Mike Burke. The secret is we are all real friends. Oh God, it's getting past old man bedtime. We are all real friends in real life.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, it is late. We are now an hour and 15 minutes past Jim's official log off time with me on Facebook usually. John, you're going to close the show, my friend. We're going to close the bar together, man.
Okay.
But again, everybody, thank you for coming on. Tom, Eric, Jim, John, Steve, everybody in chat, Death Angel Shadow. Thank you guys. Also, thank you to Agile Monk. Along with the Agile Monk, Bruce Lombardo for the super chats. It'll go to Guinness, trust me. It'll go to a good pint of Guinness when I can drink again, when I'm allowed. But again, everybody, thank you for tuning in tonight. I guess we'll just see each other on Facebook, where we always see each other often.
Yeah, thanks. And so, I've got one last question. Does anybody here know what day his birthday would be?
December, January. Hang on, I'll tell you exactly.
Tim Kask? It was January something. 14th or something?
If you just give me a second. Because he was either 12 or 11 years older than me, depending on which month it was. January 14th.
Ah, I got it right. All right.
So, as one of my closing comments, I mean, I think it would be a great idea to celebrate Tim Day on January the 14th every year,
Man, you are just full of great suggestions.
Yeah. Well, I did grab up on purpose. I grabbed up caskcon.com and I thought about doing just a 1-day gaming event in the fall in Tim's name,
Mhm.
like a thing where, like, everybody just donates money to get in,
Mhm.
and then whatever we raise, we just do something like for like a local school or local something, like buy a bunch of D&D books and give them to the local D&D club or something, and just something cool like that where, you know, the vibe is just gaming, spread the word of gaming. So there's actually a Facebook page called CastCon. So facebook.com/CastCon. Jim did the logo, the wizard logo. Jim let me use. So I appreciate it.
Yeah,
But-
it's a great idea.
Yeah. So, but everybody, again, thank you for tuning in tonight. Everybody in chat, thank you. I know you guys take time off to come in here and, you know, yap with me, and it's much appreciated. So, everybody in chat, thank you very much, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I guess we're gonna sign off here. This is Don from Vlog of Many Things with Mr. Wampler, Mr. Lake, sorry about that, Tom, sorry about that, and Mr. John. Much appreciated.